Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, Lanasha Puwadi chats with Lehua Dosela, Miss Gila River 2023-2024. But right now, Susan Levy talks with Christine Holden and Heidi Capriotti about the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System.
And in the studio with us today is Christine Holden, Access Tribal Relations Liaison, and Heidi Capriotti, Access Public Information Officer. And so Access, for those listeners that aren't familiar, is Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, also known as Access. And this is Arizona's Medicaid agency that offers healthcare programs to serve Arizona residents. Welcome, Christine and Heidi. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Well, I hope I explained that correctly. So I guess in the beginning, let's just start and tell us a little bit about yourself, Christine.
Sure. So my name, again, is Christine Holden. I am the Access Tribal Liaison. And in my role as the Access Tribal Liaison, I act as a bridge between Access, tribes, tribal communities, and other stakeholders. Generally speaking, I'm responsible for facilitating communication, collaboration, and understanding between Access and Arizona's 22 Indian tribes, American Indian, Alaskan Native Access members, and other external stakeholders such as the IHS, managed care organizations, and other state agencies. As the point of contact for tribal stakeholders, I relay information, coordinate meetings, and ensure effective dialogue between all parties. A big part of my role centers around establishing and maintaining positive relationship with tribal leaders, community members, and external stakeholders. And that means engaging them in active listening, building trust, and respecting cultural protocols, as well as ensuring advocacy and representation in all meetings that I am involved in, cultural competency and education, and being involved in policy and program development, as well as anticipating any conflicts and issues that arise and ensuring that we have a strong relationship with all of our tribal stakeholders.
That's a big job. Can I go back to a second? Can I ask, which is your tribal affiliation?
I'm originally from the Fort Apache Indian Reservation, was born and raised there. I am enrolled in the White Mountain Apache tribe. I'm also half Hopi. I am Snake and Sand on my Hopi side. And I've been the Access Tribal Liaison going on about 8 months now. So relatively new to the role and still learning what my responsibilities are, how I can most effectively serve tribal communities as well as Access in this role.
I think you've done a tremendous job. You've always been very accessible, answer all of our questions that we've got, and I know the community loves you. So just my opinion, I think you've done a great job. So, and Heidi, welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Susan. I'm Heidi Capriotti. I'm the Public Information Officer at Access, and a big part of my role is supporting Christine in external communications, making sure she's got all of the information she needs, that the agency is pushing out, and that she has the tools to get it out to the community in a way that it can be digested well.
That's a big job for both of you. Lots of stuff going on down at Access. So I guess my question is, I know we're here to talk about Access and Medicaid renewals. So Medicaid is the same as Access, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Access is the state Medicaid agency.
Okay.
It stands for the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, but we all just lovingly call it Access.
Okay. So for people that don't know, it is exactly the same thing. So coming from other states or when we talk about it, it is AHCCCS. It is pronounced Access. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. People think I am often misspelling things. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about the difference? Is there a difference between the different health plans and American Indian Health Program? Is that a plan? Is that a program? Mercy Care, United Healthcare, Arizona Complete Health. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
When American Indian and Alaskan Native individuals apply for Access and are approved, they're given a choice between enrolling in a managed care plan or the American Indian Health Program. And under federal law, American Indians are not required to enroll in a managed care plan. Hence, the fee-for-service or American Indian Health Plan is an option to this population. the American Indian Health Program bills on a fee-for-service basis, meaning directly to Access and not through a managed care program. There are no network restrictions for individuals who are enrolled in the American Indian Health Program.
So Heidi, I know during COVID, there was something called a public health emergency, right? A PHE. And now I keep hearing this term, PHE unwinding. So like, what is the PHE unwinding and how does this affect people? And is it important?
The public health emergency started in March of 2020, so more than 3 years ago. With that, state Medicaid programs were given additional federal money with the requirement that they do not disenroll most people on the program. So anyone who came on to Access since the start of the public health emergency has not been through the renewal process, which prior to the pandemic happened every year for every member.
Right.
The PHE last year was disassociated with the continuous enrollment requirement on Medicaid. So the federal government last December said, okay, states can now start returning to the regular renewal process beginning April 1st. Arizona was one of the first 5 states in the nation to return to their regular renewal process. And we did that because we were ready to go. Throughout the whole pandemic, we never stopped the renewal process. We only stopped the disenrollment process. So that gave us some insight into how many members might factually be ineligible when the PHE ended and how many needed to respond to us with more information in order for us to determine their eligibility. So with the return to regular renewals, which started April 1st, Access now has to renew all 2.5 million Access members. That's a big lift.
This year?
We're going to take 12 months to do it. The federal government gave us that flexibility.
It's a lot.
A lot of flexibility, but it is a big lift. On top of that are all the new applications that are coming into Access on a monthly basis. In order to streamline this process for members, and many of whom may never have been through an enrollment period before because it's been 3 years, we are aligning those members where multiple people live in the same household. So instead of someone getting a renewal for 1 month and their daughter getting a renewal for the next month, we're streamlining that so they're aligned. So 1 renewal per household. We're also aligning members who are also on SNAP so that it's easy to renew both those eligibility benefits at the same time. Access will contact members the month prior to their renewal. So they'll get a notification that the renewal is about to begin. Then they will get notified if we're able to determine their eligibility automatically. And we can do that for about 75% of our enrollees. We can hit federal databases and determine they are eligible by income level. If they're eligible, they'll get a letter that they're continued on the program. If we cannot determine their eligibility, they'll get a letter asking for more information so that we can determine eligibility. We know people don't always check their mailbox. So we also have a text and email option that you can sign up for. That way you'll get a notification that we're looking for something from you, and you won't have to wait for a letter to show up in a mailbox somewhere. I think what's most important for members to know is we're back to this regular renewal process as business as usual. We need to know where people are. A lot of people have moved through the pandemic and maybe forgot to update their contact information with Access. So we're asking members, and we have been asking members for 18 months, to update your contact information so you get notified when your renewal is due. They can do that by logging into their HIA Plus, we call it HIA Plus, www.healthearizonaplus.gov account. There are also community assisters on that website. They can call for help to walk through this process, or they can call the Healthy Arizona Plus phone number for assistance.
Okay, so let's back up a couple things.
Yeah.
All right, so you said if you're on Access that the first thing is I would get a letter. Is that correct?
Or a text or email if you've signed up for that.
Okay, and how do I know if the text or the email is legit? Is it coming from Access or DES, and also where's the letter coming from?
those are both excellent questions. We have started a Trust the Text campaign because there are Medicaid scams going on around the country. We've seen it already. So if you get a message, a text, an email asking for money to renew your access, you can be assured that is not a legitimate text. Access will never ask you for money to continue your eligibility, continue your renewal.
So they're not asking for credit cards.
We're not asking for credit cards.
Not asking for...
We won't ask for any personal health information over a text or a website. So if you get a notification like that, be leery. Be careful. There are a lot of scams out there. So the text message from Access will say, this is Access. Not that anyone would know for sure without clicking on a link. But we are starting a social media campaign called Trust the Text. So there'll be more information coming out. There'll be robocalls as well that'll tell you that it's Access. And again, we'll never ask for money or credit cards or anything from you other than for you to log in to your Healthy Arizona Plus account or contact us.
So Heidi, you mentioned that there are letters from Access to update your information. What does this letter look like, or envelope?
Good question. You might not recognize it because it's a white envelope and it's got Department of Economic Security in the upper left-hand corner. You can see a picture of this envelope on our azaccess.gov/renewals page. It looks like a plain white government envelope, but that is your renewal information. So please open it.
Uh-oh. So that means, don't just rip it and not open it?
Don't just toss it in the trash and not open it. Look for a white envelope from the Department of Economic Security.
So it says Arizona Department of Economic Security, or does it say DES?
The envelope is a white window envelope. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see Arizona Department of Economic Security. It may look like a plain government envelope, but that is your renewal information, so please open it.
And don't just throw it in the trash without looking at it.
Don't just throw it in the trash without looking at it.
Okay, so open it, look at it, and respond.
And please respond.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so if I get the letter, it would say, we need to update your information. Then I would either call, or I would check my email, or I would check my text, and then update my information, correct?
You might get one of two letters. You might get a letter saying, you've been continued.
Okay.
Or you might get a letter saying, you've been discontinued. Or you might get a letter saying, we need more information from you. So the first two, continued or discontinued, are what we call the auto renewals. We can do that automatically without any input from the member because we've been able to determine your income eligibility. The other letter is, if we need more information from you, we cannot determine your eligibility by those databases. So we need some documentation from you.
So I guess my question is, if somebody gets a letter and it says that they need that Access needs more information, are they able to come to Native Health? Because we've got certified assisters here. Now, could they bring their letter in with whatever the documents are that they need, whether it's rent or employment, paycheck stubs, if they even do that anymore, or anything like that? Is that okay, or is it only able to be done via HEA Plus or Healthy Arizona Plus or something like that?
Our community sisters are a great option if you need a little more help getting that renewal completed.
Okay. So they could come here, bring their documents, bring the letter, and we could assist them with that. And I know we've been doing a lot of work in trying to get the word out to make sure people are updating their information and not falling off.
We definitely don't want anyone to experience a gap in coverage who's eligible.
Right.
Now, if someone does lose coverage, we do have a 90-day window where if you're discontinued because you didn't complete your renewal, there is a 90-day window in which you can still complete that renewal and not have to start a brand new application.
Okay. And what happens to those people that are just completely off? Let's say they weren't employed during the public health emergency, and now they've got a great job and they don't need it, and they've fallen off, or for whatever reason they don't qualify. Are there other options for those people that need some type of health coverage?
There are other options. And for those members who are discontinued, that discontinuance letter will include a link to the healthcare.gov marketplace. We also automatically refer qualified members to the marketplace, so that happens automatically. And they may qualify for subsidized plans on the healthcare marketplace. We also know that some people may have employer-based coverage now, or they may be getting benefits through the Veterans Administration or other options, or they may have moved out of state and they just didn't tell us that they've left.
So let's go back to the marketplace. Are there any other terms for the marketplace? I know people get confused.
There are a lot of terms for the marketplace. You might hear it called the Affordable Care Act Marketplace, or Obamacare, or healthcare.gov. There may be others I don't even know about.
But that's the marketplace. So
marketplace.
So when you're saying the marketplace, that's what you're referring to.
The federal marketplace.
Okay. I know a couple of my kids are on plans from the marketplace. So
okay. And I think all of our 7 contracted healthcare plans have qualified healthcare plans on the marketplace too.
Now, is the marketplace also, is it just Arizona, or is this all over the country? So
it's a federal database of healthcare options throughout the country.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. I know you've answered how does Access contact members. So again, it could be letter, email, or text, or robocall.
Or robocall.
Okay. And you told me how I could update my information. So
log into HIA Plus to healthyarizonaplus.gov.
Okay.
Or use a community assister.
Okay. And then they can upload the documents or get whatever they need.
Mm-hmm.
You did tell me how I could, in case I don't qualify, I could find something on Access. Can you also tell me something about kids care?
I can. I also want to not forget to mention that 211, the community information line, is a great way to have somebody there to help you to find healthcare options. So anyone who has a loss of healthcare coverage, call 211. Their navigators are ready to help you navigate that healthcare system and figure out the best option for you.
So Heidi, can you tell me something about kids care? I don't know if it's part of Access or I just keep hearing about it. Can you tell me more about it?
If you hear the term Children's Health Insurance Program, that's the same as Kids Care here in Arizona. It's a federal program, and there's a higher threshold of income that people qualify for Kids Care versus the regular Medicaid program. So to apply for Kids Care, it's the same as applying for Access, just healthyarizonaplus.gov website to apply, or call a community assister to apply. One of the flexibilities we've been able to put in place because of the public health emergency is the waiver of the premium, the monthly premium for Kids Care members. That won't be in effect again until April of 2024.
So there's no cost?
There's no cost today. There is a monthly premium, again, once we hit that April 2024, and you can find that information on the Access website.
So that's like a really great deal.
It is a great deal.
I mean, like if you've fallen off and your kids need coverage and there's no
you
cost,
may as well apply.
Like, wouldn't you want your children to be covered?
Yes.
Because what other options are there for them?
You want to keep kids covered for sure.
Yeah. All right. And finally, Christine, how can our listeners learn more about Access, updating their info, American Indian Health Program, and other topics that might affect them? And how can they, most importantly, contact you?
So American Indian and Alaskan Native Access members can learn more about Access, the American Indian Health Program, and other topics pertinent to them by one great source of information is the Access website. On the Access website, you'll also find a page dedicated to tribal consultation, which also, tribal consultation is also a great way for individuals to learn more about topics that are of the utmost importance to our tribal stakeholders. And those happen quarterly. We also have ad hoc meetings about various topics that the tribes are requesting, as well as our other tribal stakeholders. The meeting schedule for tribal consultation is posted on the Access website, and it is open to the community. They're more than welcome to listen in, chime in on various topics, and learn more about what is going on, especially current topics. So those are great opportunities. You can also contact me via email if you need further assistance, would like to request additional information, or just have general questions about Access, my role, and how I can assist you. And you can reach me via email. My email address is Christine, CHRISTINE, .Holden, HOLDEN, at azaccess.gov. There's also an option to subscribe for our Tribal Relations e-newsletter.
And great. I'm just going to interject. That's a great newsletter. You do a great job.
Thank you. And you can also subscribe to the Tribal Relations e-newsletter either by emailing me Or there's an option on the tribal consultation web pages via Access to subscribe for those, and you'll receive all of the updates that we send all of our tribal stakeholders.
Okay, I got to go back for a second. So what's the website of Access?
Access's website is www.ahccccs.gov.
Okay, so www.ahccccs.gov, and then you go to the top, and you said that's where the tribal part is?
On the Access website, you'll find on the left-hand side, there are options, and you can pick the tribal liaison option. And underneath that option, you'll see some subpages, tribal consultation. You'll also see tribal relations. My contact information is also available under those pages. You'll also find past meeting information, agendas, slide decks, and a plethora of other information that is pertinent to our American Indian.
There's like great stuff on there. I got to say, you guys do a tremendous job.
I will add to the website piece that I, as tribal liaison, am working on optimizing our tribal relations web pages to also contain additional information so our American Indian, Alaskan Native members have access to all the information that they need right at their tips. Because right now, all we have on there primarily are meetings and agendas, the tribal consultation policy, but I'm working towards including more information for Access members, including how they can update their information, summaries on various things such as what is an MCO versus the American Indian Health Plan.
Some good stuff. Some really good stuff. And important. And I think you guys do such a great job on your pages and on your website. It's very easy to understand and easily accessible, and you're not having to dig. It's there. So hats off to both of you. I think you've done a good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I want to say thank you both for coming on today. I know it's a lot of information. I know it's somewhat complicated, but I think you've done a great job explaining it. And I think the message, and maybe I'm wrong, the bottom line to our listeners is please make sure all of your information is updated. And if you need to update it, please go update it. And we can
look for a letter from Access about your renewal.
Yep, there you go.
One thing I would like to add for our American Indian and Alaskan Native Access members is that if you do have some recommendations in terms of material that would be useful to you or your family members, or would be useful to your tribe, topics that you would like to learn more about, please reach out to me via email, because I do want to spend a good portion of the next few months developing some communications, some documents that will empower Access members with information so they can use that information to make better decisions when it comes to their health.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're going to do that. Well, I'm glad you both were here today. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. So let's hope our people go out and update their Access.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Susan.
Coming up, Lanasha Puadi chats with Miss Gila River 2023-2024. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Spirit Horses by Annie Humphrey.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. In the studio with me is Lehua Dosela, Miss Gila River 2023 to 2024. The Miss Gila River pageant is a scholarship pageant that celebrates the beauty of the Acoma, O'odham, and Peeposh woman and is regarded one of the longest-running pageants in Arizona. Hello, Miss Gila River. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
Skukdash, Visachamwi, Ani Anapchugik, Lehua Lani Dosela, Ani Gumki, Chichino Anajit, Guriakamo. Ani Masha Mesa Community College to Thana O'odham Community College. Ani on Miss Hill River 2023-2024. Good day, everyone. My name is Lehua Lani Dosela. I come from the village of Co-op on the Hill River Indian community. I attend Mesa Community College where I major in fire science, and I attend Thana O'odham Community College where I major in business administration. I'm the current Miss Hill River 2023-2024. I grew up on the Gila River Indian community, and I was taught from my great-grandmother, the late Myrtle Pete, and the late McDonald Hughes about my traditional Acoma O'odham teachings. I started learning when I was about 6 years old, along with my siblings, and I'm so grateful that they were able to teach me. As for my pageant journey, I've been competing in pageants since I was about in the 7th grade. I competed for the Miss Gila Crossing pageant, and the first time I competed, I got second attendant. And in total, I've competed in 7 pageants, the current one being Miss Gila River.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. I know you mentioned that you've been kind of in the pageant realm since you were in seventh grade, but how did you get interested in wanting to compete and also winning the Miss Gila River?
So as I've mentioned, I've competed in 7 pageants. Back in 2020, I competed for Miss Gila River, and I got second attendant. And before that, I got into the pageant world through my older siblings. Mm-hmm. My sisters competed for Miss Gila River as well, and Junior Miss Gila River, and other high school pageants. And so it just kind of pushed me more to want to be like them. But actually, before I was Miss Gila River, in October of 2022, I competed for the Miss Indian Arizona pageant, and I gained the title of first attendant. So it was kind of a tough decision for me to decide on if I wanted to keep the title as first attendant or to take a risk and run for Miss Gila River. But it took a lot of work, and honestly, I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for my family and their support.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. And you said your sister also competed in pageants as well?
Yes.
And did she help you kind of get you prepared for competing for all of your pageant, like Miss Gila River and the Miss Indian Arizona?
Yes. I had 2 of my older sisters both competed, and so they showed me the ropes on what to do and how I can improve myself.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. And since you currently hold the title of Miss Gila River, why is it important to you to hold this title?
One of the big reasons it is important for me is because of representation. Mm-hmm. I feel like in comparison to other tribes, the Acoma O'odham and Peeposh people aren't as represented until more recently, that we started getting representation for being the original inhabitants of the Phoenix metropolitan area. I know a lot of schools now do the recognition for the tribe, of our tribe, and other tribes wherever they're located. Mm-hmm. And also, I just want to be able to give back to my community. With my schooling, my ultimate goal is to become a firefighter and give back to my community in that aspect. And so this is just one of another way of doing that.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And it's also, you're kind of sharing your culture with the community as well that may not have much knowledge of the Gila River people as well.
Yes.
So that's awesome. And what do you hope to accomplish during your title?
One thing I hope to accomplish is to have the youth be proud of where they are, where they come from, and the tribes that they represent. Representation is important, as I mentioned. And I just want them to take in as much teachings from the elders as they can, and not only just the youth, but any age that they are. It doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you have that desire to learn and continue learning and teaching.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a particular interest or a platform?
Yes. So we got to choose our platforms when we turned in the applications. My platform is to promote the importance of learning our traditional teachings in this ever-changing world, such as our songs, languages, and dances.
Oh, wow. And then do you go to, ever go into the schools to kind of share your teachings as well?
Yeah, I go to schools or even go to events and I'll share a song. Mm-hmm. And that's one of my talents, is being able to sing, mm-hmm. especially because I learned when I was younger. It's just more natural to me.
Mm-hmm. And what are your future plans or in your career path? Because I know you said that you want to become a firefighter.
Well, with my title, I just want to give back to my community as possible. I plan on hosting events and workshops in which they can learn more about hands-on type of stuff, such as mm-hmm. learning how to sew a dress or learning how to make the jewelry, learning how to sing a song and learning what those songs and even the dances mean. Mm-hmm. And for my career, I plan to become a firefighter and hopefully one day become chief.
Oh, wow, that would be so amazing. And you are very knowledgeable of sewing and also making jewelry such as beading, right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. And how long have you been doing those?
Well, I started learning how to sew and bead when I was around 7 years old. I learned how to sew from my mother, and then I learned how to bead from my older sister. But then I stopped doing it, and then I started getting back into it a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So I had to relearn how to do everything.
And can you tell us what are some of the things? Because I know you said that you've had your family really have been behind you to kind of prepare you when you were going to be competing into the pageants. What advice would you give to other women or girls that are thinking about competing for the pageant? What advice could you give them on how they could prepare themselves for competing?
Well, as you mentioned, number one, having that support, whether it be your family, your friends, and then also practicing. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't practice. And so it takes a lot to practice what you're going to say, to practice what you're going to present, whether it be you presenting, I know for Miss Indiana Arizona, a couple of them had stuff that they presented. One girl, she presented wool and how she was able to dye it. Or if you're practicing for a dance, mm-hmm. For me, it was practicing singing. And yeah, just practicing over and over and over and over again. And then just making sure you have everything ready in advance. That's really important, because otherwise you'll just be scrambling around trying to figure out what you're going to do the last minute.
Mm-hmm. And then say somebody who didn't have a role model for somebody to teach them those, that would be the opportunity great for them to join your workshops, like you mentioned, how you were going to do sewing or beading classes, and then they could pick up those skills and maybe use those skills in competing in a pageant as well.
Yes.
That'll be so great. And how long was the application process when you applied for the pageant?
Well, as I mentioned, I was still debating on whether I wanted to compete or keep the title of Miss Indiana Arizona First Attendant. Mm-hmm. So I had the application the day before it was due, and I was just looking over it, deciding if I wanted to do it. I remember my brothers and I were hiking, and I was telling them, I don't know if I should do this. What do you guys think? And they're you'll have our support no matter what you decide. Just if you really want to do it, just turn it in. So I hurry up and went home, filled out the application, and then drove to Sackatone. And I turned it in half an hour before it was due. But like, I mean, every pageant's different, so they have like different categories. Mine, it was, you had the traditional talent, your traditional attire, and then business attire, and the impromptu question, and also the interview. That's like what it consisted of. So yeah, then after that I had to decide what I was gonna wear, how I was gonna design the dress, and if my sister would do that or if I would do that, but she ended up doing that. So yeah.
Oh, that is so amazing. And how many events have you attended so far, and are there any particular events that have been your favorite?
I honestly don't know how many I have attended. It's been kind of crazy. It was like I just got the title and then automatically events started coming up. And one of my most memorable was probably the event I hosted, which was the Autumn New Year. And with that, I was able to have Autumn singers and also Peeposh singers come, and we were able to dance and have a giveaway as well. With that, I was able to sew 18 ribbon shirts and 9 ribbon skirts. So that was a lot of fun. And I was just happy to give back to my community and be able to spend time with them throughout that night.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. And if you were writing a biography, what would be the title of your book?
If I were to write a biography about my life, I would probably call it Resilient Like a Haitian. And a Haitian is a cactus. Especially like with what I've gone through in my life, I feel like having that resilience is so important. And especially us being Native American, we all have some type of resilience within us. And like me, I competed in 7 pageants. Out of those 7 pageants, I've had 3 titles. So it definitely takes a lot for a person to continue trying and trying and trying to improve from what they previously did, which is what I had to do. So yeah, and like I mentioned, it was a big risk. I didn't know the outcome, or I was just hoping for the best and hoping that with the practice that I put in, that it would pay off.
Oh, and it definitely did. So going back to the application process when you were going through the pageants, do you know what the requirements are to compete in the Miss Gila River or Miss Indian Arizona?
For both of them, you have to be single. For Miss Indian Arizona, you have to be between ages of 17 and 25. For Miss Gila River, it's 18 to 24. And that's just so that way you can compete in the Miss Indian Arizona pageant. I don't remember all of the requirements, but you have to be in school or have a job for Miss Gila River and for Miss Indian Arizona. And most of it is based off of, like, for Miss Indian Arizona, it's a scholarship, so you have to be going to school in order to gain that scholarship for school.
And then how long is the commitment?
It's a year for both, but for Miss Gila River, you have to compete for the Miss Indian Arizona title. And that's months after your reign. So I would compete in the Miss Indian Arizona pageant in 2024.
Oh, okay. Do you have any upcoming events that you'll be making an appearance at?
Well, they kind of let us know not too in advance. I only have so much that I know of right now. So I know just tonight we have the Mercury game.
And what has been the best part of being Miss Gila River?
The best part of being Miss Gila River is being an example to those younger than me. I recently went to an event for early Head Start, and they were promoting to the next class. And so I got to see all the little girls, and they were like excited to see me and wanted to take pictures. And it just made me feel so happy to know that they could hold this title. And even like my younger sister, I know she looks up to me as well, and my younger cousins. And I just try to be the best example I can be to them, because I know they're the next generation. They're the ones that will be taking on the roles that, like for me, that I hold. And even for, like, council. So, yeah.
I bet it's really rewarding as well, just seeing everyone come up to you, seeing all the little girls, all of the kids' eyes light up when they see you, like, oh my gosh, look at her.
Yes.
And have there been any challenges?
Well, I would say traveling. We went to gatherings, and we drove in a van, and it was just like rough.
Oh, yeah.
I was just tired of sitting down for so long. And then even when we went to Unity, which was held in Washington, D.C., we were on the airplane, and I don't really like riding in airplanes for like a long period of time. I'm just like, my body is just tired, and I'm just there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that is everybody. I think the challenge is always traveling, sitting in a car for hours or sitting in a plane. But you are also a part of a dance group, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Yes. So our dance group is called Chichino Spirit, and it was started by my older brother, Christopher Dosela, and he learned, and my other siblings also learned from our great-grandmother, the late Myrtle Pete. And it started in 2006. So it was just our siblings that were a part of the group, and then evolved into my cousins and close family friends who are from Salt River and from Thana. So it's pretty cool to see how much our group has evolved and changed and grown, and I'm super excited for what our future holds with our group. Mm-hmm. And even now my younger siblings are a part of it, and some of my cousins and my nephews, and it's so cute seeing them because they're like younger.
And were you involved with the group right as soon as it started, or did you kind of transition into the group when you got a little bit older?
No, I was a part of the group when I was like 6-7 years old, and that's when I started learning how to sing and dance, and it was just something that I enjoyed and wanted to do, and I had a passion for. And it's kind of crazy to look back on back then, because it's been like, how many years has it been? It's been like 17 years that I've been a part of it, which is crazy. And holding the title as Miss Hill River and also being a part of that can be a little bit hectic with like my schedule and deciding which one I'm going to go to, or having to skip a performance because I'm going somewhere else as Miss Hill River.
Oh, yes, definitely. How do you juggle everything, holding your title as Miss Gila River and going to school and also being a part of the dance group? Just thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, how do you juggle everything?
I just try to keep them organized. I have a planner. I write down everything, and if something, if two events are happening at the same time, I just let my brother know, like, I can't go to your performance because of this. But yeah, I also do online school, so it's a little bit easier to juggle that part of my life.
Is there anything else you wanted to let our listeners know about yourself or the title, or any last encouragement?
Again, I would just say continue learning your culture. It doesn't matter what age you are, whether you start younger or older, as long as you have that desire to learn, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just go for it.
Yes. And finally, where can our listeners find out more information about your schedule or maybe any upcoming appearances, and how or who can they contact if they have any questions about the pageant or anything about your schedule?
Yeah, so we currently have a Instagram, and it's called GRIC Royalty, GRIC Royalty. And if they want to reach out for scheduling us at an event, they can reach out Miss Gila River at gric.nsn.us.
That's perfect. I would like to thank you, Lehua, for coming in to talk to us today to tell us about the Miss Gila River pageant and also about your background, how you prepared, and all of this great advice and information today.
Yes, thank you for having me again. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy, sound engineer is Javier Quiroga, and our host is Lanasha Puati. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.